Hello and welcome to Crochet Moments. This is my place where I like to talk about all my yarny type things, my knitting, my crochet, my cross stitch. And I'm Helen. I am in Leicester and I live here with my two daughters, Katherine and Emily, who do occasionally make appearances on here, but Katherine's at Girl Guides tonight. Emily's literally just gone upstairs to go and have a bath before bed. And obviously my husband Simon, who is very patient to put up with the amount of yarn that lying around this house. So it's been a little over a month since I last shared with you. I have got 5 finished objects, 4 of which I've already gifted because the person they were made for is leaving the country soon, so they needed to go to her via the person who asked me to make them, and 1 item that I have with me. I have no whips to show you that I'm currently working on. That's strange to say. I'll explain that properly in a moment. I've got some cross stitch to show you. I've started a new cross stitch. And I've got a future project to show you to try and fill things up. Yarn, I haven't bought any yarn, not even my subscription yarn from the fantastic Attic Spin Die. That is because cash flow problems. So we've had birthdays, we've had Easter, so I've not wanted to lean on my credit card because the balance on that is higher than I normally like it to be. So I've been good and I have bought 0 yarn. I don't know how long that will stay for. We are going on holiday at the end of May. We did go away over Easter and I'll tell a little bit about that just to fill some time. Yeah, so I didn't buy any yarn then. We didn't really go anywhere that I could see where yarn was for sale. There was a yarn shop, but it wasn't open, so I couldn't go in there anyway. So it's probably a good thing. Yes, the knitting account has been dipped into from stuff that isn't knitting, unfortunately. So let's talk finished objects first. So I have done 4 finished crochet objects. My friend at work has a niece who is moving to Australia very soon, and she had asked me if I could make her some items to give to her. So she is a keen diver. Sorry, I'm trying to find some photos on my phone to show you. She's a keen diver, and her sister, so the mum of the little girl, she does crochet, but she isn't confident at crochet, and she's certainly never done amigurumi before. So she asked my friend from work to say, can you ask the lady who crochets at your work if she can make this? So this is the pattern that was she asked me to make. So it's a lovely little diver, and I've just realised I forgot to do the hot pink X on the chest. Oops, never mind. So this is a paid for pattern, as you can see, by Caloca Crochet. She's on Etsy, and it was a really good, easy pattern to follow. Every step was really well explained. I don't buy a lot of digital download patterns. I tend to either use my magazines, my books, or I do free downloads, but that was amazingly good. It's definitely made me more likely to do to buy these patterns. But she wanted a little bit of a change, so they are Indian in heritage, so they have brown skin. So they wanted the skin to match the girl, and she wanted to have some plaits to be put on to make the diver look more female. And excuse the mess in the background in the picture, but there is the finished object. So I used all stash yarn. See, I'm using my stash. I'm using my stash. And then she, of course, she did say that she would pay for my time and the yarn, even though I've told her she didn't need to. She did give me a little more than I said to, because I just gave her a price to cover the pattern and the yarn if I'd bought the yarn, which obviously I didn't, because I had everything I needed on my cupboards, in my cupboards, on my shelves, in the bags, everywhere. So I didn't necessarily want extra. I've a little bit of imposter syndrome maybe. I don't feel confident in charging for my work, mainly because I wouldn't know how to value my time, and a lot of people wouldn't be willing to pay you a fair amount. So I just, for friends, I would just say, give me the yarn, pay for the yarn, pay for the pattern if it's a paid for pattern, and I'll do it. And they usually give me a little extra. It's not often that I do commissions, but she wanted some little cute sea creatures to go with it. So I made a little crab, and I'll find the pattern for that in a moment. I also made a seahorse, which I forgot to take a photo of, but I did it in pink with a grey frill. I will find the pattern for that and I'll show you the picture of it. And I also made a little seal, a little baby seal. That's I don't know if that's, it's so cute. It's so cute. So the patterns were all free patterns that I found, and I found them on a site called Little World of Whimsy, and it's 31 adorable sea creatures, free patterns. So there's the symbol, Little World of Whimsy. So the patterns I did, so there's the crab, which was a free pattern by Yarn Society. I didn't do the little bow. I just ran out of time. I've been trying to get everything done for her over the course of the last week or so. This is the seahorse that I made, and it is a free pattern by One Dog Woof. That's so cute. My two girls have been arguing over the fact they wanted these, so I'll probably end up having to make some of these again. And then the seal, there's some amazing patterns. I almost made the humpback whale. Look at that. It's an amazing pattern. But I didn't, mainly because I didn't really have the colours for it. And like I said, I'm trying to stick to my stash. Where is he? Where's the little seal? And there's the seal. So the seal is a free pattern by Elisha's Crochet. Now the crab and the sea lion, the patterns were really good, really well written, lots of photos to help. The seal, well, I got there in the end, as you can see, because I finished it. It took, I wouldn't necessarily have described it as an easy to read pattern. Just things like there was a section in the pattern where you had to do 8 increases in a row, and it just, the way it was worded didn't read 8 increases in a row. It looked like you were doing 8 single crochets increase. So just, if you go on that website and you find that pattern, because it's a beautiful pattern, and you know, I got there. If you know amigurumi, you'll get there. it is still an easy pattern to do, and it's almost no sew. The only sewing that I had to do was the white bit on their mouth and the side fins. Everything else is crocheted together. There's practically no sewing on that one. The crab was quite a lot of sewing, so obviously 8 legs. But even that was still very, very easy pattern. And the Seahorse wasn't a huge amount of sewing, but it was tiny, so it was very, very fiddly to do. But yeah, no, really had lots of amigurumi fun. But most of the month, the last month, I have been focused on knitting. I have decided, in my wisdom, I think, that I am going to try and be as monogamous as I can on my projects to try and get as more done, because I'm really, obviously I said in my whip parade, I'm really self-conscious about how much I have on the go. So obviously I've frogged a few things and they've been frogged now. The balls have all sat back in their bags upstairs in my bedroom waiting for a project, and I'm just going to try and get as more things finished, and then I'm going to have one project at a time. I'm going to knit something till it's done, then I'm going to crochet something till it's done, and I'm just going to alternate that. And at the weekends, Saturday, Sunday is cross stitch day, unless I'm in the position like I am at the moment where I finished the project that I've been working on all week, and so my Friday evening is going to be gin and tonic and some cross stitch. So also I've got a busy weekend, so I don't know how much time I'm going to get for cross stitch, and I'm quite excited on my current project at the moment for that. So anyway, all that to say, I have a finished knit project, and it is a pair of socks. Oh, I've got some toy filling on the hook of my sock blocker. So this is, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the pattern, and I have put the magazine in the bin. It is a Knit Now magazine, which I have on Readly. So if I can find which issue number it was, next, that's the next one. So issue 133 on Readly. Right, I found them. So it is the Caravanserai Socks, designed by Michelle Hazel. And here is what they should look like. I don't know if that's blowing out a bit, because they are quite bright. And these are, it's a slip stitch pattern, and they are part of the 4 Seasons knit along that they did, gosh, however long ago. I don't think there's dates on these magazines, but I've had this yarn for at least a year, at least, maybe longer. So this was back when I used to subscribe to the Knit Now magazines. Now I have the Readly app, I tend not to do that. And the yarn that came with the subscription was Rico Superba Alpaca Luxury Socks. I did not make it in that yarn. I had the yarn, I threw the yarn away. I just couldn't touch it. I tried, I cast on with them, I tried so hard. And Simon got so fed up of the yarn just being out of the way, because because it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful colour. I really, really wanted to try and get past the itchiness it has on my fingers, but I didn't. I just couldn't make it work. So I dug out some yarn that I bought from Lidl in this beautiful colour. So there's the sock. So I did them a little bit shorter than the pattern said. I feel like I probably should have done another 10 rows. Now I haven't measured my gauge on this and compared it to the pattern, but these are a large, and I normally make a medium. I've made them for Katherine, and she's got giant feet now. So yeah, so I feel like maybe I should have made them slightly longer. When she has them on, they are literally just about that much over the ankle. These are my first afterthought heel. That was nerve-wracking. Now this was slightly different to the afterthought heel I've seen other knitters do. So the toe, they were toe up, and that cast on was very interesting to do. I'm definitely using, it was done using a crochet magic ring. Definitely using that method again. If I do toe up or anything that starts with just a small tiny thing. It's not the neatest, but that's me, not them. But there you go. That's the cast on. The afterthought heel. I'm not sure I'm going to do that again. I mean, I did it and I've made a success of it. I didn't drop any stitches. I almost dropped some stitches, but I didn't. So there's the heel. I'm not sure how to stop these holes. Now I know with afterthought heels there is that problem of holes. I have tried my best to sew them up, but I think I was just past caring by that time. I was like, I feel like I've been working on these socks for a million years. I want them off the needles. So they are finally off the needles, and Katherine put them on, and they're ever so slightly too short. I only measured her feet because I knit them at the same time, so I was working my way up and I was doing, I think it was 5 pattern repeats at a time on each sock and then swapping over to the next sock. So I measured her feet before I got to the point where I put the heel in. I measured her feet and they're already slightly too small for her. Last point is, they will fit me because her feet are almost bigger than mine now. And, you know, Emily's feet keep growing. They'll fit Emily eventually. It's just like they're growing like weeds. They need to stop. Maybe I should just stop feeding them. So, yes, that is my first ever afterthought heel. It wasn't that you just cut into the yarn. You put a row, well, half a row, so you sort of put around just the back of the sock in some waste yarn, and then you popped the needles through the stitches, and then you unpicked that waste yarn from the row, and so then you had the needles. So I mean, it's fairly flows in fairly neatly. I don't think I've made any big boo-boos there. It's not put me off completely, but Katherine said she doesn't really like the way it fits on her foot. I've not tried them on myself yet, so I will reserve judgment on that as to how I feel, how they fit, whether or not it's something I want to go forward. So Katherine's definitely a heel flap and gusset girl. I have to say I prefer that method because I felt terrified because I thought all that working all that time. I mean, it is a very simple slip stitch pattern, but it got quite tedious working along that whole. Let's try and get it to. Let me just show you on how it looks just on the sock without the blocker. There you go. And I still feel that my transition from the knit stitch to the purl stitch could be neater. I just find that I end up with quite a wide purl. So that's a 1 stitch there. And obviously I've come that way. So I've transitioned from knit to purl. And here I've transitioned from purl to knit. And this is much neater, much tighter than over here. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. But I love the socks. They are really pretty. I won't be making them again. Partly because I have literally 100 or more sock patterns. I've got the 52 weeks of socks book, which I still haven't broken into. So I really want to start on those as well. I've got 2 or 3 sock pattern books. Obviously I've got there's countless sock patterns in my magazines that I have. We just have to see. I do want to make more socks. I do enjoy a knitted sock, but we shall have to wait and see how that goes. So like I said, I don't have any active whips to show you at the moment. So I will show you what I am going to be working on starting next week. Hopefully this won't take quite so long to work up as the socks. It is made in sock yarn, but it is made on larger needles because it's got very loose gauge. So this is the Nymph Shawlett, and this one is designed by Irina Molodova. There she is, wearing her own design. This is the alternative. So with the 4 Seasons knit along, you had a sock pattern and a shawl pattern. So the sock pattern was this for this particular yarn, and then a shawl pattern. Obviously, as already explained, I am not using the called for yarn. I am using some of my orchidine yarn. I don't think I've used any of my orchidine yarn. I have bought quite a bit of this. She no longer sells yarn, so you can request correction. I think she does sell yarn, but I don't think she definitely doesn't do the subscription yarns anymore. This was from the flower. She had a flower power one, and I just did mine bi-monthly. But this is her platinum sock. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the colourway is Spring is in the Air. Now the card has come open, so I'll just show you the yarn. I just love this colour. It's so beautiful, and I think it's going to look lovely in that quite big lace. So it's not a very, it doesn't look like a very fine lace. So this is knit on 5mm needles. So that shouldn't take too long to work up. I'll need to get this caked up. Oh, there's a much better much better picture of the pattern. There it is. So it starts at the top and you're working in a V all the way down. So the top bit will probably work up quite quickly, and then the lace will slow me down. I've done the Tin Can Knits lace course, so hopefully my confidence in the lace knitting will have improved. I've got lots of stitch markers. I have all of these in here. I have a few extras elsewhere as well. So this is a little pot I got with one of my Crochet Society boxes, and I've got lots and lots. I love my stitch marker collection. This is one I got I think it was with, was it my Advent or Christmas Eve box? But this was from Attic Spin Dye. Oh, it's a little Santa. He's so cute. But yeah, so that's my future project that I will be casting that on Monday, and I will be working on it for a whole week, and then the following week I will have a week working on a crochet project, and those 2 projects will be all that I work on until they are done. However, my crochet project, I need to talk to Emily. All the amigurumi I've done, Emily's desperately wanting me to do some amigurumi for her. She has dug out my crochet cafe. And as you can see, all these little bits of paper, she just picked up random bits of paper that she's found in her cupboard that she wants me to make. And she's made herself a little menu. So I have to make all of these toys for her. I'm not keen right away. I want to finish my flower child tea because I feel like I haven't worked on that in a very long time. It is starting to warm up. We are going on holiday, as I've said before, towards the end of May, and I would very much like, if we have a nice sunny day, to be able to wear my own crocheted top. So I'm going to have a little chat with Emily and ask her if I can finish my top first, make that my priority, and then I'll move on to her amigurumis. I have started to do a little bit crochet in my lunch break at work. I only get a 30-minute break. At least 15 minutes of that is taken up by eating my sandwiches. So I said I might take the pattern to work with me and work on it at work for 10 minutes before I have to go back to my job. So that might help things a little bit along the way. On the ability to knit front, potentially I could get more knitting time. That's quite interesting, isn't it? So my work has announced that they may be changing the way that the personal bankers work. So at the moment I'm based in one branch in the city centre, and my working day is leave here, cycle to work, do my work, cycle home, come home, do all mummy things, and then get an hour, maybe 2 if I'm lucky, in the evenings to do some knitting and crochet. They are now thinking of pooling all of the personal bankers from different areas. So obviously we're in the East Midlands, so all the personal bankers within the East Midlands, and they would travel between 3 branches. So the branches that I would be travelling between would be Leicester, Nottingham and Derby, which would involve a train commute. I can knit on the train. I don't think I'd crochet on the train because I feel I always need more space for crochet, and I can't crochet as comfortably walking around as I can knit. And by knit, it would probably be socks. I would probably end up just having pairs of socks just going through a project bag that will hang off my wrist while I'm knitting. But yeah, so potentially I could start seeing a few more finished objects in the knit world as far as socks are concerned, or small shawls and hats. Simple things that aren't made heavily patterned will be the way to go on that one, I think. But yes, that's very exciting. So let's just pop that project away back in its bag for the weekend. I'll get that yarn caked up on Sunday. I might even cast it on Sunday because I'm getting an extra evening with the cross stitch. On to cross stitch. Now I had hoped I'd be able to find Katherine's cross stitch to show you, but it seems to have disappeared unless it's been buried under this pile of stuff down here. Ah, there's her project bag. Aha, it's in her project bag. That's a surprise. So I have given her this project bag for now. This is just until I feel, oh gosh, focus, thank you. This is just until I feel my craft account is flush enough to treat her to a proper cross stitch project bag. But she has seen on Facebook a Chinese company that sells very cheap cross stitch kits on printed fabric, and she is a very, very, very big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. So this is a Nightmare Before Christmas pattern. You can't really see much of the design on this. I don't know if she's got the picture in here. Oh yes, she has. So this is what it's going to look like, hopefully. So this is a silhouette of Sally, and she's really doing well. I did say to she's only been working on it in the Easter holidays and at the weekends. In the evenings she'll do a little bit. I have said to her, if you did a bit in the evenings after school instead of playing computer games, you'd get through it faster, but she won't listen to me. But she keeps seeing new ones that she wants me to buy for her. It's not happening until she's finished at least one of them. I've bought her 3. So, and 2 of them were Nightmare Before Christmas. So yes, so she got very excited when she got to do a little bit of colour here, because this is all black. And once it's done, you soak it and all of this colour will come out of the fabric and make, because obviously there are some areas where you can see the yellow through the stitches. So, yeah. So that's Catherine's cross stitch. Now Emily saw a few designs in there that she wanted me to make for her, because she doesn't have the concentration required for the delicate handicrafts. She's quite happy to draw and stick and paint, but when it comes to anything involving needles or hooks, she hasn't quite got the patience. If she doesn't get it first time, it's like, that's it. So she wanted, now I don't have proper pictures of these ones, she wanted some pictures of the Disney princesses as babies sleeping in cribs. Let's see if I can find a picture to show you what they looked like. Let's find the order. So the one I'm currently working on is this one. Come on. No, that's not that one. Not that one, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. It's one of those ones that has all the designs possible there. Come on. Come on, give me the one I need. Snow White, baby Snow White. There she is. So this is the one I'm working on at the moment. And I am working, I did start, I was just going to sort of work down it in the same way that I'm doing on my Heaven and Earth pattern, but that was getting a little tedious because oh gosh, dropped my threads. The threads come on these cards like this, so I normally have a card where I put them, and then so I'm just doing a colour at a time until the colour's all done, and then I'm moving on to the next colour. So that's what I've started doing. So this is how it looks so far. So it's really tricky to see. I've not done cross stitch that's stamped on the fabric like this before. It's always been counted. On the smaller count, so this is 18 count fabric. Catherine's is on 11 count fabric. On this 18 count fabric, I'm finding that there are areas of the printing where you can't read the symbols because of how small the square is that it's printed on. So I'm having to rely quite heavily on the accompanying chart that comes with it. Thankfully there's a chart. So yeah, that's basically where I am with that. And I also have a Rapunzel crinkles. I do apologise. Yes, no, I don't, there's no picture of that one either. Where is she? Baby Rapunzel. I think that's the Rapunzel one that she picked. So they're actually quite well priced. They're about £10 to £15 for the whole kit. Now they are coming from China. We did have a long wait. I did get a little concerned that it was potentially a scam, because it was taking so long to come through, and it was just because when I ordered it was around Chinese New Year, and it was just that they were all on holiday. But once I got the shipped, it came through fairly quickly, within a week of me getting the shipped notification, which I was quite impressed with. So yes, they have they've got a continuous offer of buy 4 get 1 free, which is the offer I took up. So Katherine had 3, I had 1 plus the free one. So yeah, that's all good. I'm looking forward to getting them done so I can get back onto my heaven and earth, which is why I've tried to make sure every weekend that's my focus. When I'm on holiday, so we did go away a couple of weeks ago now to Manchester for a few days. I did take the cross stitch and I focused on that for the few days because I can't remember why now, but anyway, I had a week on cross stitching. I think it was probably because it had literally just been delivered, and I was so excited to get it started and worked on. But I was keen to get back to my knitting and my crochet after that week. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't really got anything else to... I have had the new yarn bookazine come through. Patisserie, lots of lovely patterns in here again. Whether or not there's anything in here I'll actually make, I don't know. But there's a beautiful sort of wrap there. Nearly forgot about that. A nice jumper that I don't know if I have the patience to make it. It's very beautiful, but those frills, what looks like a lace with a cable in it. There's some lovely, as always. I'm not sure there's a lovely cardigan for a man there, although I might make that for myself. I'm not sure if I'll make anything out of these, and I'm not sure I'm going to renew my subscription, mainly because I have made so few things of the things that I would like to make out of them. So I might do is keep an eye out. They do give you when the issue's coming out. You do get emails, and you can go on the website and you can look at the patterns that are in the book. And I might just buy the individual ones rather than subscribe. They're not expensive. I think I paid £35 for I think it was 3 years worth, so that's 6 magazines. It's not bad. But yeah, so that's everything I've got to share, and I'm going to go pour myself a gin now before I start on my cross stitch. I might get into my pyjamas as well. So I will see you all again probably in about a month's time to hopefully show you all the finished objects that I won't have gifted. And yeah, and maybe I'll even have an active whip. So I will see you all again soon. Bye bye.